Good morning, folks. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, 2020, and the time is about 7:34 a.m. in the morning. I just saw a really fantastic movie that came out a while ago, 2008. It was on YouTube. I was just watching it on YouTube. The name of the movie is Penelope. It's a movie, I think, designed for children. It featured a young woman, about 25 years of age, and she's a blue blood, and she had a family curse upon her. Now, the movie was, to be playful, you know, but it was very meaningful. Yeah, I loved it. And at the very end of the movie, they give him the real theme about what happened to Penelope, who had this family curse, and the curse was lifted by her own power. Yeah, the answer was, and I'll give it at the very, I'll give it now, and then I'll give the story about Penelope. The message at the end was, it's not the power of the curse, but the power you give the curse. Wow. I think that's the answer to many of our problems. And the power that isms have, like racism, sexism, things like that. The power of isms is not it in itself, but the power you give it. And I thought that was a powerful message. And it was a little child at the end of the movie who said that. See, the movie Penelope features this young British girl. I think she was British. Yeah, British. She's a blue blood, and her ancestor did a no-no. And there was a wedding, and the person was to marry another person, and then they back off. They shamed her. And so the mother of the girl that was shamed by the guy said, your future descendant, if they have a girl, they'll know what it's like to be humiliated. So the first girl you have, a curse will be put on her, and you'll have like a face look like a pig or something like that. So for many generations, the family, they only had boys. And then, no, it's okay. Yeah, that's the neighbors. Boy, lately they've been like dropping things or banging into things, and my dog hears it and it reacts. So I apologize for that. Yeah, it's okay, baby. Yeah, it's my little boy. Okay, let me go back. Yeah, this is my pendulum, my new pendulum that I made. See, the base part of it. Move that. Yeah, this is my pendulum. See that? Yeah. So I'm sitting with it to give it energy. Okay. Yeah. So so what happened with Penelope? Well, so many generations later, the family does get a little girl, And yes, the child was born with the nose of a pig. And with families, you want to have your daughters marry out, especially if you have money. But she's having difficulty, and the men are afraid of her when they see what her face looks like, and they run away in terror. And this one particular potential suitor, after seeing her, jumps out the window and goes to the police and says, "Oh, this person had a pig face," and blah, blah, blah. Fast forward, this person went out to prove that he was right about her, and they get people to try to infiltrate the home, pretend that they want to marry her to get a photo of her face. But it backfires, and um, one of the people that was trying to deceive her initially, it turned out he wasn't actually a blue blood. And he, knowing that, see, the curse was um, that only when she marries another blue blood, that the curse would be lifted. And so he didn't want to. He was actually falling in love with her from the very beginning. But he didn't want to ruin her chances of having a normal life, because he wasn't a true blue blood. And the guy that initially wanted to win back his honor, that she really, because they thought the other guy was just being insane and all that, and he wanted to prove that he was correct, what she looked like. He came back in the picture. And also, I am missing a line in the movie that, she had left home because she wanted, all these rejections that she had, and the guy that wasn't really the blue blood, when he left, it kind of devastated her. So she kind of runs away from home and meets some people. And what's really interesting, see, when she ran away from home, not far, she stayed in the neighborhood, but she just wanted to get some air for herself and see life for herself. She wanted something better for herself. She was comfortable in herself, basically. But, society. And society is always trying to put its 2 cents into something. But when she left with a scarf around her face. But I thought this was really interesting, what happened to Penelope, about perception and how you give power to the curse, which was really, I thought, relevant for today. See, she was always she knew the reactions of many people. And she did have when she left her parents' house and she wore a scarf around, hiding her nose, she was still so self-conscious about herself because of society. And at one point in the movie, when she was by herself outside, she saw these 2 men running. She thought it interesting, one was black, one was white, and she thought that they were running to get her, because see, she had run away from home, and she thought they were going to take her back to her parents. But they were just random men who were just jogging. But the fear she had, she started crying, screaming. And the guys weren't after her. They were just running, so happened to be running near her. And they were running on the path. But see, that's where the power of the curse is behind you, that you drive the curse. So she made the curse more powerful than it was because of her perception. And this whole movie is really about perception. And maybe initially, excuse me, maybe initially, that there was something to her having a pig face that kind of turned off people. But she, she was, other than that, a very balanced person. She had a pleasant personality. She had interest in nature, botany. Um, she played music, so she was developed inside, but it was just that so-called small little flaw of the face. And even in her adventure when she kind of ran away from home and she's in a bar and she has that scarf on her face, she meets a young lady. They were both about the same age, and at one point in the conversation, she was talking about this guy that um, she didn't that left her or something, and she was saying, oh, maybe if I just maybe it's my ears, and just kind of fix my ears because they stick out too much, and blah blah, and it just and then listening to her, and she looked fine, the other girl, so called normal, and the perception of the girl with the pig nose at the bar, she's thinking, how unimportant and trivial her fears are in perception, in perspective, But it was a learning lesson for her. And people have to, excuse me, go on their own paths. So the guy that initially saw her, that actually kind of liked her, but he wasn't a true blue blood, and then you had the true blue blood who was a real jerk and immature, and only going back to the pig girl to for his own selfish purposes, So even though he had everything going for himself, but he wasn't developed spiritually, mentally, in every sense of the word. But fate would have it that he came to the rescue. The even I'm skipping a lot, but she was to marry the true blue blood who was just a real, just doing it for the sake of doing it and get money for the family. But the girl, the guy was really uncomfortable, and they're giving the marriage vows. He's saying, yes, he'll marry her, and then when it was her time, turn to say I do, she says no, and she runs away back in the mansion. And this was really an opening up for her. She had to make a choice. Her choice was, this guy I know doesn't love her, and she really likes herself. She wants to develop herself. And she's alone in her room, and she's saying she cries out, I love myself. I accept myself. And guess what happens? Yeah. Guess what happens? The curse is broken. That's right. The curse was broken. And it was really interesting. And it turns out, she realizes that she had the power all alone to break the curse. And you know what that reminds me of? The movie The Wizard of Oz. Remember Dorothy? She had the power all along to wake up from the dream. And in the end, her breaking the curse, and the guy that really did like her, but he wasn't a true blue blood, And when he saw that that the other guy was going to marry her and use her, he had come in there to challenge the guy. It was really interesting. Um, and their paths do. You know, they both had to go through a process. See, the girl and the false blue blood had to really mature, and you know, he had to mature. The guy that really wasn't a blue blood, he had his own passion to be a musician, and he was gambling away the little money he did have, and he didn't feel he was good enough or something. And I guess the story of the pig girl, yeah, you know, the girls actually, they go to a party. It was like a Halloween party, and you know, there were people who were dressed like a pig girl, a pig face, because they loved the girl. They loved the pig face girl because, you know, it's found out what type of face she really has, and you know, the public fell in love with her and everything. And so she goes to the party where the guy was, the false blue blood, and the girl really liked him. You know, now she has her normal, so-called normal face. She goes to the party in a disguise as the pig-faced girl, and she comes to see the guy. And they kind of talk, and he comes to a realization about his life. See, he lied to her too about this, his passion, his true passion for music and everything. And it came to pass, you know, because she discovered, you know, who he really was. And then to, you know, come to an understanding and embraced and kissed. It was just really interesting. I know I kind of got the movie all over the place, but the movie really was about one's inner journey to overcome their weaknesses. And so, what weakness, you know, we all have weaknesses. So whether, you know, you live in a society and let's say society doesn't like you because of a quality in you, it could be your race, your nationality, your coloring, your social economics. It could be anything. It spoke to me. The movie spoke to me, especially when she thought these two guys were running after her, these authorities, and to grab her and show her nose or something. That was her fear. She made the curse more excruciating because in actuality, they weren't after her, those two joggers, but the power she gave the curse and how she responded. Don't we do the same thing? Don't I do the same thing sometimes? That I give the power to something that really isn't it. Yes, it had some power to it, but I perpetuated and strengthened the power of the curse. Yeah, the curse of racism in America. So many of us put more power to it. Let's say you say to yourself, oh, you know, I can't go into that store because what I look like and they're going to discriminate against me and blah, blah, blah. And one day, so that thought kind of came to my mind. This was many, many years ago. I may have still been a teenager or my late teens. And I go in a store. I said to myself, you know, I'm curious what it's like in that type of store. And you know, I'm just as good as anybody else. And I went in the store, and you know, no one bothered me. I saw everything in that store. See, though, there was power. I mean, there is racism, there is sexism, there's a lot of things. But sometimes we give more power to curses, the curse of, and then you fill in the blank. So there's a time in our lives where we have to say no and just go for it. Just go for it. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody is going to, but, you know, but when you stand your ground, as that girl finally did, and saw the, hey, you know, there's some people might laugh, but they saw beyond her nose, and they embraced her. And the guy that, who wasn't really a true, you know, a blue blood, he had to get over his demons of self-doubt. And so he decides to go for his passion, you know, his music, and to accept the girl that he really loved. So that's what I got at the movie, Penelope. Yeah, I love these movies designed for young people, you know, children, but I'm still a child at heart, and I understood the theme of the movie. It was fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah, I just saw it on YouTube. Go see the movie and be blessed by it. And realize, you know, accept yourself. No matter what your flaw is, it's going to take risks. Take the risk if you can. And go for it. And be truly liberated. Thanks, guys, for listening. And enjoy your day. Bye-bye.